Yes. If you don't inspire, what happens? It's written over there. You expire. Who is innovating here? Good. So we will not expire, and that's very important. But today I would like to put some things that I want you to think about. And while we go through the day, I hope that we think how important it is. Because we have a big challenge going on. I'm a banker. I'm still a banker, don't worry. No, it's important to be banker also. But no, I like the PIN code. Everybody knows it's PIN code? Right? But this is the PIN code of the world. And why it's so important? Because today we have 1 billion of people in the Americas, we have 1 billion of people in Europe, 1 billion in Africa, and 4 billion in? Great, Asia. But it's changing. Our PIN code is changing. It's going to be 1125. So we will have 1 billion more people by 2050 in Africa, and 1 billion more people in Asia. But if we travel even forward, if we go to 2100, because food we have to think about very long, we actually will have 4 billion people in Africa. So if you go on, you will see today, for every American or European, we have 1 African. In 2100, we actually, for every American, we will have 4 Africans. So where is the challenge today? It's really how are we going to make sure also that we will feed not only ourselves, but the whole world, and especially how we are going to enable Africa to be successful. This is quite something. This is quite something. Think about it. Every day, every month, sorry, we have 1 Singapore added as people in the world. Every day, 3 million people, 3 million children go hunger to bed. Oh, think about there's more land available. While we grow to 12 billion people, we don't have any more land. So in the 60s, we had 1.4 hectares per inhabitant of the world. Today, it's under 1. In 2050, it's only going to be 0.4 hectares. So we will have to double productivity, double the use of land. It's quite a challenge, and we are not yet. And the people that have to produce those food, every 20 years, is reducing by half, is halving. So you as a farmer, actually every 20 years we see a reduction. So a consolidation. Also today, in Americas already, we have, for every farmer, 350 people in New York dependent. And if you ask a New Yorker that, he will not know. Because today, always, food has been granted. We take it for granted. But what's happening with so many people coming up, it's not for granted anymore. It's not for granted anymore. And what's also not for granted is that the food distribution is going to be equal. If you look at Asia, 60% today of the population lives in Asia. But Asia only has 35% of the production means. So land availability in Asia is a big issue. There are few regions in the world that can produce more to export. For instance, what's this showing? That they are the green regions are the ones that have the capacity or today already are exporting. But the yellow ones, actually the regions that import food. And wow, is the PIN code of those guys changing? So the regions that have actually today are importing food already are the ones that will have the biggest growth in population and middle class, by the way. Very important. So there's a lot of change going on, and that if you are an innovator, if you are an entrepreneur, you have to think about what are you and we going to do about it to make this change, or at least to make sure that we feed all those people. Who thinks that Africa can feed itself? Very few people think that Africa can feed itself. So, but they will have to be fed. Challenge, a very big challenge. Well, we know that one thing is for sure. If we want to double the yield, or we want to produce double, there's only one way to doing it. There's no more land available. or very few land available, and the availability of land that we have is today being consumed by urbanization, at least. So everything we take, we have to give back through urbanization. So the only way, right, to double production, there are only two ways. First, we have to increase yield, and secondly, we have to reduce waste. Today, waste is accounting for a third of everything. If you would see waste as a country, it would be the third largest emitter of CO2, behind the US and China. Only talking about sustainability, how important it is that we reduce waste, and secondly, that we here together think about how are we going to improve our yields. And that's what today is about. Celebrating innovation, celebrating ideas, celebrating technology. So the two big challenges. And how is going to happen? How are we going to tackle them? There are four movements which are going to very briefly go over. One, we have to develop technology and new innovations. We have to take care of the new consumer. Why? Because the consumer, with social media, is becoming much more conscious about what they are eating. So it's not only producing food, but it's also having a story around food and be able to tell the people that what they are eating is healthy. If you walk today in the US and you go to a store, what do you see? You see that all packaging is about this is healthy food, no gluten, oats, etc. This is what the consumer wants. And are you, as farmers, innovators, thinking about the consumer? We have to think about the new supply chain which is changing, right? Farm to fork, and that's what's in the name, is the supply chain. What's going on in the supply chain? Are you thinking about it? Are you using innovation, technology, to bridge the new supply chain? And last but not least, was I said already, sustainability. All those four blocks have to be considered. But let's go to the first, what I talked about, the consumer and how he's buying. In China, today, almost 2/3 of all sales are done through the wet markets. You know, you go to you went to a Chinese wet market, yeah, you go there, I want the duck, they go kill the duck in front of you, right? It's strange, but it's changing. Because in 2025, actually, the Chinese are going to buy most of their food through the traditional retailer, as we do today. And the second example I have to your right is the Dutch one, which is today the Dutch are buying most of their food through the traditional retailers, but that's changing. That's changing because more and more they are buying through specialty stores, and the most important, and that you see also in China, through the internet. And the internet that you can buy directly online is going to change completely the way how we can sell product to conscious consumers. Think about what that means. One example here on the value chain, and I start in the top, is the concentration of the value chain. So we talked about less farmers in the world, so we have a huge concentration on the farm. Fewer farmers, bigger farmers, but we also are having a concentration on your suppliers of input. Right? Think about what's going to happen it's happening in the seed business right now with the merger of Bayer and Monsanto. Think about what's happening with Syngenta, right? DuPont and Dow. So there's a lot of concentration going on. Think about the concentration of the big food companies like the beer industry. Like AB InBev really becoming so big and buying every 10 years, 5-10 years, buying a big competitor. So huge concentration going on there. But also think about the changes in technology, changing the way how we sell to the customer. Did anybody already bought food online? I bought food online. 10 years ago, I didn't buy food online. I couldn't even get it delivered. But think about the consumer right now, like HelloFresh. We have HelloFresh here also in Australia, where those guys are using the best technology, actually big data, to predict what you're going to eat and offer it to you. So they have a menu and they deliver your food, but they know what you're going to eat in 2 weeks' time. They know with almost 90% certainty, because we always eat the same thing. So they know. So they are modeling, and they will make you offers of menus because they know you like that and you're going to consume that. But most importantly, what they're doing, they are cutting out a lot of change in the value chain. So HelloFresh, the real good thing is that they are taking, produced directly from the producer with one place so that you can go to the consumer through the internet with big data modeling, which is great, by the way, because think about it. If I know what you're going to eat, I can make sure that the farm is going to produce what you want to eat. Because today, most farming business produce first and sell later. But if you can model exactly what you're going to produce, you can reduce a lot of waste and be much more efficient. So it's not bad. It's not bad. It could be very good. But the question is, if there's profit in that value chain, where it's going to get? Right? Is this profit? Because if you reduce the value chain, it's fresher, less waste. Consumer want to pay more for good food, but who is going to get that money? Who is going to? Is it going to stay still with HelloFresh? Is it going to go to the farm? What's going to happen? I don't have an answer, but we really have to think about what's fair. So, also waste, very important, right? A third of everything we eat is wasted. And the most interesting, it's wasted. We think about, oh, it's wasted at the farm gate. No, actually, most of it is wasted actually at home. How many of you use a spaghetti meter to make sure that you don't cook too much spaghetti? Only 2 of you. So then all of you, when you cook spaghetti, you actually cook 20% too much. That's the average. So if you make a meter, you will consume 20% less. So you're throwing away 20% of what, so that's not good, right? It's a lot of consumption, a lot of waste. We have seen here 10 billion is thrown away now here in Australia. It's a challenge, and that's what we are going to celebrate today. Let's challenge ourselves. So what are we going to do with waste? How are we going to increase yield? How is the consumer changing? How is this value chain changing? How can we make sure that we link the farm to the end consumer? Who is actually having an internet site and selling directly to consumers? One, two, some are here. Who are businessmen here? A woman? More? You're all entrepreneurs, right? So, we have a big opportunity, right? So, food bites here, a lot of people enabling, big opportunity because that's changing. The internet is changing the way we consume and we buy. What is the commitment of Rabobank? I think it's very important also to state our commitment. And why are we organizing this meeting, the Farm to Fork? We think, as Rabobank, that we have to support the world to feed all those 9, 10, who knows, 12 billion people. And what can we do as Rabobank? The first thing we can do is to support you to produce more. And we will do it. And we do it. Thankfully, we want to be able that what you produce, we can distribute. So it's not no reason only producing, but you have to make sure that the value chain also distributes. But also distributes on an efficient way, without waste. That's our commitment. The third commitment of Rabobank is that you can produce, you can distribute, but are we doing the right calories? Are we distributing nutritious food? Right? Because calories we are very good at producing, but are we producing nutritious? Do our children learn very early in their life cycle, Mr. Joyce, to cook well, to cook the right food? No? Do we? I always say, I only learned to put a coin in the vending machine at school and get the Coke out. That's what I learned. I didn't learn to I didn't learn to go to the supermarket and cook nice food, vegetables and fruit. I didn't do it. And the fourth one is, you can produce, you can distribute the right nutrition, but it has to be resilient. And resilience is, it has to happen every day, 3 times a day. Every day, 3 times. Food has to be available. And we know that farming is most probably one of the most dangerous or most risky activities. So it goes up and down. So it's very important that we can create resilience in the whole value chain. And we will do it through the financing, as I said, through the knowledge we can provide like we're doing here, and through networks. And today, we celebrate knowledge, innovation, and networking. That's what we are here about. And that's we do globally. So today here, the food bites you have, we are celebrating here. The farmer masterclass, we have farmers from around the world here today coming together and talking about their challenges. This picture here is from our farmer class in Zambia, where we ask our farmers, if you go to Zambia, if you would have to make this happen here, you are the best farmers in the world. So we will shortly come out with the book, Grant. I saw you here. Was good, wasn't it? Yeah, you will talk about it, hopefully. And then we are connecting the farmers. With Global Farmers, you will see there, we are trying to connect you on the global platform. The most interesting, that we started the globalfarmers.com with the idea of let's share knowledge. But actually the thing that's working the best is actually the Farmstay B&B. Yeah, that's working well. Because I already have some clients, or some Rabo clients, that actually make the whole trip through the US without going and paying any hotel. They all stay with clients of Rabobank. But that's connecting also the people on a global basis. So it's working, and we are happy about it. But let's look at the future, right? So, nice picture here, nice dinner, very active couple, no? Yeah? You laughed, you know why? Because food is emotion. When you eat, there is emotion involved, so there's no thing going on, right? Looks like. I know the couple, I know it's okay, all right? They are here, by the way, okay? And the thing is, food is so much emotion involved in food. There is no ratio. People don't think rationally about food, right? We don't think rationally. No, because we all know that if you would think about rationally about food, most probably we would do it completely differently. But it's emotion, it's culture. I myself from Brazil, I cannot imagine myself eating artificial meat. I just want to have a big barbecue with my family, right? That's the way it is. On Sunday, we go out, the whole family, for lunch. And we stay for 4 hours eating. And we celebrate food, and we celebrate culture. And that's very important. But the way it's going is actually changing. It's even getting better. Huh? So, good relationship, right? They're here. They're very good people. Huh? But you could be eating with anybody, anywhere in the world, even if you're here. Somebody of you already saw a VR. You know, you're in a different world. But this could happen. And this will happen. You will have most probably having dinner with somebody at the other side of the world in a couple of times. Or even more, if this goes even further, we could even not eat anymore. We just think we are eating. Huh? Think about that. Yeah, you have the noise of crunchiness, and you have the smell, and then kind of a thing in your mouth that gives you the taste buds. No, I don't know. No, technology is going to see where we are going to get. But this is very serious. I know, I'm making a joke about this, but this is very serious. Feeding 12 billion people is not going to be easy. We can do it, that's for sure. But it's not obvious that it's going to happen. So today, where we are here, where we're linking the whole world, we have people of the whole world here, I hope that we will be a little bit further in that big challenge we have. I'm very honored and proud that we have so many people here, and I'm absolutely sure that you all will go home today with more knowledge, more information, and most importantly, a bigger network, because it's the network of sharing information that will make us successful. That's why it's the global supply chain, it's a global business.